it off. Hi everyone, my name is John and this is Grace. We're co-presenting here. It's our first time co-presenting anything together, so if it gets a little bit awkward, that's why. The title is Onboarding for All, How to Design an Engaging Onboarding Experience. Although how-to, that sounds a little bit prescriptive. If anybody's ever tried to implement or design an onboarding experience before, you know there is no how-to. It all depends on your product, on your customers, on what goals you're trying to achieve. So this is one way that we did it in 2017. We'll tell you what the process that we went through in deciding how to approach it, what we did, and then what kind of results we got from it. Before we get started, just to get a sense of who we have here, is anybody a product manager or hopes to be a product manager? Anybody in product marketing or anything around that? Great. Anything else that I didn't mention?
Customer success.
Customer success, great.
Sales.
And sales. Okay, we got everybody here. We got the bases covered. That's fantastic. Okay, so between everybody in here, we should be able to put our heads together and take a look at what we did, maybe ask questions about what you guys are working on, get some feedback and stuff like that. So just a little background about our company. We are Insightly. Has anybody heard of Insightly before? Right, we do a lot of marketing online. We've been around since 2009, as you can see. And let's see, and yeah, we're a CRM, kind of competing with Salesforce, kind of, but a little bit different in ways that you'll see. So this is, I'll get the clicker. So this is Perth in 2009. Neither of us has been to Australia before, so this is just our guess as to what it's like there. And our founder, Anthony Smith, who was in Perth at the time, he developed Insightly as a side project in his garage here and launched it onto the Google App Store in 2009. We believe it's the first free CRM in the Google App Store, and it just took off, right? The day he launched it, the next day there were hundreds and hundreds of installs, and then the first month there were tens of thousands, I think, and it just kept going from there. There was a clear product market fit from the beginning of people who had small businesses, needed some way to keep track of their contacts, keep their stuff managed, but didn't want the burden of something like, you know, Salesforce, God forbid, Oracle, right? So he hit on something kind of just as a side project. I'm not saying I'm going to do a startup, I'm going to move to San Francisco. In fact, to this day, he doesn't even want to be in San Francisco. But here's where we are now. So he took his first round of funding, set up shop, began hiring, began building, and let's see. As far as the business, it went from 1 to 75 employees about. Of course, had to develop ways to generate revenue, so established some paid plans. Raised Series A, Series B. You know, nothing big, nothing blowing the roof off, but a reasonable amount of money each time. And of course, along with that, had to develop the product. So initially, it was basically a contact management database in the cloud connected to your G Suite account. But of course, had to develop some lightweight Salesforce automation capabilities. Had to develop, well, didn't have to develop, but did develop some project management that plugs right into a CRM, which is still today one of our key differentiators. And additional integrations, including with Outlook. So we were launched to the G Suite store, or not G Suite at the time, Google Apps, and developed an Outlook integration too, because we realized, oh, there's a bunch of businesses using Outlook. So kind of spreading way out during this time. So this, about a year or two ago, maybe a year and a half, 2.5 years ago, this was one of our landing pages, I believe. And if we showed you all of our marketing assets throughout this period, they are similar to this in the sense that they represent the small business, right? Needing something that's really small, it's cheap, punching above its weight class, right? But not not grown up, not going head to head with Salesforce by any means. It's clearly for the solopreneur, very small business, maybe up to 10, 20, but nothing like a fully developed sales team or anything like that. So then what happened? Time for Series C. And this wasn't one of the smaller rounds that we did for A and B. Series C was like, all right, it's time to turn on the gas. We found a couple of really great, a couple of VCs, really experienced, really loved what we were doing, very professional and grown up, as you can tell. This is not them, this is stock footage, but this is my representation. And so signed the papers, got the sheet, and what did they say immediately from then? Any guesses? It's time to make more money.
Ask you how you were making it.
Time to turn on the gas, all right? We are not okay addressing the small business at this point. You need to go up market, start addressing those mid-market enterprise companies, and start giving us a little return on this generous gift that we've given you. And so then we regrouped on the executive level, and we took a look at our positioning. So here's our positioning. I think this might still be on our website somewhere. And so I know it's kind of small, but if you can see it, a lot of users, a lot of businesses all over the world, these 3 bullet points, across a range of industries for Google and Office 365. And who are we for? We're for small, mid-sized, and enterprise teams. So basically, the positioning is we are for everybody. And if anybody's tried to grow a company before, market, sell, develop products, how are you supposed to do that when you're doing it for everybody? Because we didn't decide, all right, we're not selling to small business anymore. That's our core. That's our self-serve, generating a lot of revenue there. But we have to go up market at the same time. Limited dev resources, limited everything. We're still a startup. We're still scrappy. We got to sell to everybody. So this was the challenge, and it affected all parts of the business. It affected sales. Had to scale a sales team from 0 to 100. Had to create some marketing materials or our assets there that spoke to larger companies without making smaller companies feeling like they couldn't do it. And we had 10,000 signups coming in every single month. It's a wonderful thing to have. 10,000 people were not only landing on the marketing page, but they were signing up for a free trial, getting into our product. Now, we can't tell you, we're not going to tell you exactly how many of those have ended up converting into paid or even continued using our free product from there. But the conclusion that we came to on the product team was that, while sales was doing their thing, marketing was doing their thing, still developing some advanced features, Salesforce automation, things like that, what was the thing that we needed to address our energies on, first and foremost, was the onboarding experience. We had people coming in all the time and spending who knows how much money in order to get these signups in. We had to really make sure that the experience that they had from the onset was as sticky as possible, despite that they were coming from all over the place. Where they were coming from there was no consistency around it. How do you do that? Massive challenge. It's not, as we like to say, it's not a meditation app, right? If it was a meditation app, it'd be like, all right, onboarding, meditate. Next day you meditate. Here's where you press. It's not that. CRM is this dynamic, flexible thing that has to adapt to every single business, how they operate. And so it's an enormous challenge for us. So how do we do this? Engaging onboarding experience for a wide variety of customers. We're going to walk you through what we did, what we realized wouldn't work, and then how we ended up addressing the issue going forward.
All right.
And I'll pass it over to Grace, our Prodigy Growth PM.
Right. So then we opened up our bag of tricks. We looked at how our competitors are onboarding their users. Trick number 1.
3 different tricks that we looked at.
Trick number 1. Onboard users by persona.
Has anybody ever seen a sheet like this before, signing into a product, asking you to identify who you are?
We found this on a competitor's website. They try to personalize the experience and cater to their users by bucketing their users by job titles.
Just go back for a second. My favorite part about this is, of course, like, the admin has no name. All right, sorry.
Here's why it wouldn't work. People don't fit into a 2D persona. Job titles are relative, and they don't tell us who the user is, what are their motivations, their use cases, their goals.
And this might work for like a big scale enterprise company where they're selling into IT, you know, is it the CIO or is it the COO? That might work for that, but like we said, we're selling to solopreneurs and and VPs of 80-person sales teams, right? How do you speak to both of them? You really can't through the persona.
Right. So personas are filled with massive assumptions. A sales manager can have very different functions depending on the company size and industry. And attributes do not make people use a product. People use a product because it's solving a problem that they have. So trying to distill complex user needs into simple generic attributes can really frustrate and irritate your users. So trick number 2, the step-by-step walkthroughs.
Anybody experienced one of these before? Click here, click here, click here.
So here's Salesforce. They handhold their users through a multi-step walkthrough until they've gotten their users through every single little detail by clicking next. So here's why it wouldn't work. We all know that walkthroughs can be highly complex and overwhelming, especially if you have a growing product, you're changing the features all the time, and your products only have more steps, and your onboarding, the amount of time it takes to onboard users should not have linear growth as your features.
This is from the user side, right? It can be overwhelming depending on what you're trying to do. I can tend to zone out a little bit when you tell me to click somewhere and read some stuff. I'm just not engaging with the product in the same way.
Right, not to mention that walkthroughs can break easily, and not every single user cares about all the steps.
In fact, the one that we showed from Salesforce there, you know, Salesforce, compared to us, they have all the resources in the world. If they want to build the best click-through onboarding process in the world, they're going to do it. And it seemed like they did for theirs, and it still broke. It still broke. We would get lost in it, they'd disappear, they'd reappear at certain times. We'd go off into another part of the product and it'd just be completely gone. So even with all the dev resources and PM resources, UX in the world, it's still not an elegant solution.
A reliable solution. So now here comes trick number 3. Onboard users by force, also known as dark UX. Hey John, did you know that the user imports contacts, they're 7,000% more likely to convert?
Yeah, that's great. Let's force everyone to do exactly that.
All right, we all know why this will not work. We can't treat our users as captive subjects. You know, users can feel manipulated. We need to treat them as voluntary and valuable audiences. And users may simply rage quit and turn off of your platform altogether.
Has anybody ever done that before? Approached a blocker and just be like, no, I'm out. Sorry, your product might be great, but not doing that for you.
So now we need to see the problem through a different lens, which John will walk you through.
So, all right. So some of the, one of the tactics that I like to use when it comes to solving problems, when you feel like you're stuck, is to look at it from a completely different perspective. Here in the Valley, in San Francisco, thinking about tech, software, we always think, oh, well, how do other software companies do this? What are the best practices in this exact realm? So like, what if we looked at onboarding through the lens of a different business, in this case, a gym? A lot of similarities, right? You've got your recurring revenue, subscriptions, you've got people who use the product a lot, you've got some people who use it a little bit, but the key is that you want people coming back. You want people coming back to use it, right? And you think about how gyms would onboard their users and comparing it to the way we're thinking about onboarding users through software, it's kind of silly, right? Like for example, right, we got Insightly Gym and we use the persona method, right? So you walk into the gym for the first time and they hand you like some cards that are like, are you like this guy, right? Or are you a stressed mom? Or are you, kind of old and your health is failing, right? Can you imagine walking into a gym and you're like, oh, that's me, definitely. I love you. I'm gonna come to this gym forever. Of course not. Of course not. They would never do that. And gyms have a lot more experience doing this than we do. So maybe we could take a little bit from that. Or the step-by-step. If you walk into the gym first day, they hand you this sheet. Do this, then do this. Whoa, too much, right? You don't know what I'm about. You can't take that approach with a gym. So why are we thinking that that's a good idea for onboarding? Well, I don't know. And then the dark UX, right? If they force you to use a particular piece of equipment before you can use the rest of the equipment, right? You completely do not understand where I'm coming from. You would turn off your users immediately, and it's losing sight of what people are actually there for. And thinking about it this way made us realize that we were kind of approaching the whole thing in the wrong way. We were thinking too much about what we wanted people to do, right? Whether it's based on who they are, oh, you're in marketing, we want you to do this. Or if it's based on what their job is. So what do we need to focus on instead? We needed to focus on why, right? Back up. That's the thing that consolidates everybody who's experiencing our product is their purpose, why they're here in the first place. Why aren't we thinking more about onboarding for that? Has anybody seen this TED Talk before? What? 2 or 3? The golden circle? Okay, if there's time at the end, I was expecting all the hands to go up, so if there's time at the end, we'll just watch this video together. But I'll do my best at explaining it. The TED Talk, this guy named Simon Sinek, whose theory is that too many companies, too many people, leaders, marketing, sales, whatever it is, they start going outside in. They start saying, okay, here's the incredible product that we have. It's going to change your life this way. That's why you should build it, right? And so his theory is that our brains operate sort of like lizard brains. And at the center of your brain, all of your motivation comes down to why. It's these deep primal urges that we have that are driving us to do something. And then cascading from that is the how you attain the purpose and then what you do in order to do that. It's kind of, I didn't do a great job explaining it, but it'll become more clear. As you can see, we were focused on the outside of the ring. We were focused on the what. What actions do we want people to do? All right, well, if you're in marketing, we want you to do this, this, and this. Or everybody in the step-by-step, we want you to do this, 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 and this. But what does it fail to take into account is the why they're there. What purpose, what goals are they trying to solve by coming into a CRM? And then how do they intend, or how do we intend to help them achieve those goals? So it's our theory based on going through this thought exercise, looking at the data, talking to customers, developing this, that all onboarding programs need to start with the why. So for example, looking back at these personas, instead of saying, hey, are you this guy? Do you feel like this mother here? I just want to say, all right, if we think about it instead of who they are, but why they're going to the gym. Who has a guess as to why this guy wants to go to the gym? Just shout it out. Go ahead.
Get swole.
Get swole, exactly. And why do you want to get swole? Look great on Instagram, right? On real purpose. He's got a real purpose he's trying to achieve through going to the gym. It's not, I am this guy, it's about the purpose. What's that?
Well, let's also say, I have a really bad heart condition. I'm going to die in 1 year. I want to be awesome for the last year of my life. Yeah, so that's a unique situation, but it's also relevant for that.
That's true.
You get the third one.
We'll wait till we get to that.
Yeah, and hey, there's young people.
All right, I skipped ahead. But the mother, right? Why is she there? It's not because I'm a mother, right? It's because I need to recharge mentally and physically. This is the purpose. This is why I'm here. Everything else cascades from that. And finally, why is he here? He needs to live longer, right? Simply as doctor said, all right, you got to go to the gym or it's not going to go so great for you. here's what we did. We designed our onboarding, instead of using those initial 3 practices, to focus on the why. And Grace will walk you through what we did.
Right. So here's what we came up with. We designed an onboarding experience around 3 main call to actions. The first one being a quick and simple welcome video. So the welcome video builds user motivation by quickly showcasing what they're about to unlock in the product. So let's take a look.
About a minute and a half video.
Everyone has a different personality when it comes to moving into a new CRM. For instance, the planner. She figures out where everything's going to go before she moves a thing. The minimalist puts in only what he needs and only when he needs it. And the adventurer. He throws in everything that could come in handy and figures out the rest along the way. There's no wrong way to do it. But before you get started, here's a look at what Insightly is all about, so you can figure out what approach works for you. Insightly was created by this guy to help this mining company in Australia keep track of its relationships and business processes. And since then, Insightly has grown to be used by companies of all shapes and sizes in almost every country on Earth. But it's still just about those 2 things, relationships and processes. Together, that's the heart of every successful business, and Insightly is designed to make it stronger, smarter, and simpler to manage. Here's how. Insightly organizes every piece of info about all the people and organizations you've ever connected to. Insightly streamlines communication with mass email, templates, scheduling, automated email triggers, and a built-in phone dialer that logs and records your calls. Insightly manages and automates each step of your sales process and projects, so everyone on your team knows exactly what to do and when to do it. And of course, the heart of your business has to connect to everything else you do, so Insightly lives on all your devices and integrates with your inbox, accounting software, and all the other apps you use. So that's what lies ahead, a stronger, smarter, simpler place for the heart of your business to live and grow. Now, if you're an adventurer, by all means, start moving in. And if not, we've got plenty of videos and articles you can learn from. Either way, welcome to Insightly.
This version is the public one. We have this on our YouTube channel and our website sometimes too, which is why we have the sign up. We don't put the sign up in product. It's a different version of the video. But as you can see, the video doesn't start talking about where to click, about the specific things you're going to do. It starts with orienting around the why, so that every company can organize their relationships, business processes, get closer to your customers. And then it incorporates the how, right? How do our products or the features within our product connect to that why? And secondly, how are you going to approach it?
I'm just curious if you had any data getting into this activity. Do you have any data from those 10,000 signups per month about like anecdotal or actual data of them hardly signing up and then dropping out, or did you have anything to kind of help you do this, design this program?
Absolutely. We have a ton of data using different tools, Pendo being one of them, a couple of other ones. We could see exactly what features people were engaging with most frequently, what features they would engage with, and then be more likely to convert. We saw the frightening number of how many people signed in once and never came back, right? That upset us. We didn't want it. We knew how much power we had to offer to people, and though that is fairly common in freemium SaaS products, people sign in, just check it out for a couple minutes and don't come back. We wanted to engage those people a little bit earlier and orient them around and get them focused like this on why and how. Why they're here, how this fits into that, and how they're going to approach it, rather than poking around and saying, oh, what is this? What is this? Because without that orientation, like it says in the TED Talk, people just don't feel inspired. They don't have the drive to continue on their own. And one last thing about this video, one of the reasons I think it works well is we do use personas, but they're a completely different type of persona, right? We're not saying you are a marketer, you are a large company. These personas are around the how of the circle. How are you approaching this problem? And it's kind of a tricky way of getting people excited about the purpose, right? You say why, okay, how are you going to do it? And they choose one or the other. We'll show you at the end one of the responses that we got around that.
Everyone has a different.
All right, so next we wanted to reinforce core values of why users came to our product in the first place. And our Insightly Basics tutorials explicitly states the key use cases of our product, including but not limited to managing sales, managing relationships, managing projects, and so on. So these tutorials not only remind users why they came to our product in the first place, but what they need to do next to successfully achieve their goals. So let's take a look at our Managing Sales video tutorial.
This one's 1.5 minutes too.
Maybe all your business comes from word of mouth referrals, or maybe you've got 100 reps calling leads every day. Either way, you've got a sales process to make sure your prospects are taken care of from first touch to the closed deal. Take that process, move it into Insightly, and you can sell faster, smarter, and more predictably. Here's a look at how it works. Every person your business has a relationship with will have their own Insightly contact record. Same goes for organizations. But for sales, we want to organize around prospects and deals. So for all that, Insightly has these two record types, leads and opportunities. A lead is a new prospect. There's potential to sell to them, but you haven't yet built a relationship or qualified them. New leads can be brought in automatically through a form on your website, an integrated app, or with the Insightly business card scanner. Insightly can also assign leads to the right reps with the right follow-up tasks automatically. Once you've established the relationship and qualified a lead, you'll convert it to an opportunity. Opportunities organize everything about the deal, like status, key info, stakeholders, emails, events, and documents. Next, go a level deeper and set up custom pipelines to bring order and visibility to all your deals. As an opportunity moves from stage to stage, custom activity sets and workflows are fired off so everyone knows what to do and when to do it. When you close a deal, you can convert the opportunity straight to a project for managing all your post-sale processes. Every detail of the deal gets carried over with it. And while all this is happening, Insightly reports, collect, and process your sales data so you can see what's happening now and what's projected to happen down the road, and then use what you've learned to make more informed decisions. So that's it, your sales process in Insightly. Now, get started closing some deals or check out this related content to learn more.
So we can see that this tutorial focuses on helping users automate their sales process so that they can save time and achieve their sales goals.
Being strictly in the how part of the circle, all right? You've established why you're here. You've established how you're going to approach Insightly as a minimalist or an adventurer. This is talking about how specifically Insightly's products fit into that goal while keeping off the table everything that relates to what you do. Clicking here, setting it up this way, leaving that either for them to figure out in a video later on, or to learn on our Help Center, or just by doing. This how is the critical part that everybody needs. The rest can be elective.
All right, so what if some users want to skip the tutorials and jump right into the product? So we have our third call to action here, and it follows the do, show, tell philosophy. So new users are educated on how to use the product by using the product and completing a list of get started tasks. And we make this experience delightful. So every time they check off a task, that tickles the user's gratification. So we are conditioned to want to complete tasks, and so we take advantage of the goal gradient effect, which suggests that as users move towards a goal, they're more likely to complete the task, or they're more likely to put in more effort.
And again, this part is completely elective. There are a lot of people who are the adventurer types who never see these tasks at all, and we're okay with that. They're here for you if you want some more guidance, if you want to know exactly what to do along the way. But if you're already oriented, you're already driven by your purpose, then leave them by. We don't care if you use them or not.
Right. So what are the results of our onboarding initiative here? We were able to increase conversion rate from free trial to paid by over 20%. And we also have some additional wins as well. Onboarding engagement rate nearly doubled if we measure engagement by active sessions in the product. Those who engage with this onboarding module are 1.5 more likely to convert to paid than those who did not. We were able to reduce traffic to the help center, and we also received a lot of comments and likes on our videos, and received more further feedback on qualitative feedback and also quantitative feedback on our V2 of onboarding.
Speaking of those videos, we're able to some extent measure or view the performance using YouTube analytics, and they performed better than any of our marketing videos, people watching on average the entire video, which, as you know, as YouTube viewers in this day and age, it's very rare that people sit down and watch an entire video. Even if it's a minute and a half long, it's said to us that people were engaged, they were getting the right content at the right time.
So more or less you determined the internal help was like, oh, people just like default go to YouTube, like, how do I do blah, blah, blah? And then that video was helpful for them. With that?
Exactly. They're by being oriented to the purpose of the vast number of features within the product, they were able to address them instead of saying, how do I deal with my leads? Or what about prospects? Because nomenclature changes between companies, because everybody's got a different process. This helps orient them around how the product fits into their picture of what success looks like. And so I think they were more motivated and things like that.
How did you deal with the variability of individual company implementations compared to generic functionality?
That is a great question. Without getting too much into it, you know, we are blowing up our customer success team in a good way, like expanding it. Customer success team, we're doing professional services, and that's our combined challenge between marketing, product, and success, is making sure that whether you're completely on your own or you're tapping into the customer success, the options that we have, that your CRM becomes tailored to what you're doing. Because as we know, that is the key to success and retention for us, is if the CRM is truly adapted to the way they work, instead of companies feeling like they're going out of their way in order to use the product.
You have a nicely designed product, by the way.
Thank you. And a couple of points of qualitative feedback too. Love this. Somebody calling us out on Twitter, a few people, but here's one of them. Loving that in the product, these how-to videos get you up and going. And there's always been this line, is it really a how-to video? People engage with them, people love them, but we're not really sure. It's more like a conceptual onboarding video rather than a how-to. But people feel like they're getting up and running, and that it makes the product feel more approachable.
And how do you deal with the end user? Do you have like a separate onboarding for, this seems more like the admins or the...
Yeah, so this one, we show this welcome video to everybody. We think it's important that everybody is oriented around the why, around the purpose of Insightly, because as you know, trying to implement a product, if your admin says, here's what we're using now, good luck, right? And your users don't like it, it's not a recipe for success in this day and age when users expect software to work well and adapt to them too. So we think it's really important that users of every level, even if you're just logging into Insightly once a week, understand the value of it to the company and what's the purpose of it overall. We do have, if you saw in that onboarding module, we have videos that are admin specific, and I think we filter those out to share the user ones, the steps that we offer for the user, only for individual users, not admins.
Right. Same with get started tasks. Admins get a different set of get started tasks.
Okay.
Those get started tests, are those the how-to videos, or is that comment about the kind of second step general?
The getting started tasks are product specific, so the final step, and they are around things like integrating your email account, setting up an email template, things like that.
So those are strictly text-based tasks.
Yes.
It's not like, here is how you do that thing.
Exactly.
They do have links, and so they guide you to the page that you need to be on to complete the tasks.
Okay.
Yeah, but no exact how-to. It's just here's where you need to go. Here's what you need to do. Exactly. We hope that people get motivated, oriented, empowered from the beginning. So, because people are smart, you know, if they want to do something, they're going to figure it out. And we do hope that our product is nicely designed so that it's not too tough to figure out.
So do you compete with, who would you say you compete with?
So if you'd asked us 2 years ago, we would have said we compete with some of the little guys, Zoho a little bit, Prosperworks, but these days we're usually, I mean, Zoho's gotten bigger too. So these days it's usually head to head with Salesforce, Zoho, and Dynamics.
Okay, and you're like, what kind of target size customer?
Mid-market is where we're punching through.
And how do you define that? How many employees?
100 to 1,000.
Okay.
But in terms of actual user count, it could be as few as 10, right?
Sure,
10 to 20, depending on how they're using it. We've also got huge corporations like Kaiser, you know, who small splinter cells within the company have adopted us. So different approaches, and that's the challenge, right? We are still, you know, one of the best affordable, super powerful, flexible CRMs out there. So really anybody can use us. If I were to start a business tomorrow as a 1 or 2 man shop, I would use this because I know that it's there.
Do you have like a ticketing system integrated with this, call tracking?
We have tons of integrations. Ticketing specifically is not integrated, is not in the product, but integrations are there.
Okay, with like, say for example.
You can make it work with anything, Zendesk, for example.
Okay.
Or again, you can use the product itself to manage that because of the flexible database, things like projects.
Yeah.
Some of our customers ticket within inside too.
Yeah, but it's not like really a ticketing system.
Correct, yes.
Awesome.
It is Salesforce automation, project management primarily.
Yeah, great. Interesting.
Quick question. So question about more of going back to onboarding. How often do you iterate through your onboarding? How do you approach that?
Great question. So this one was launched in almost a year ago, 9 months ago, June, July 2017. And we've iterated on it a few times. For example, the videos, we have to update them when the UI changes, when there's major product updates. So that's a big commitment for video. In terms of the you want to speak to some of the other upgrades we've made, Grace?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, as we launch new features for admins or for users, then we swap out the get started tasks for the videos, and we look at a lot of quantitative data of what's driving conversion rate, and also qualitative data. So we do change onboarding, not that often, but enough to increase the key metrics we're tracking.
2 months or every like 6 months, you know, because then you have to retrain the users inside the system, right? For instance, if I have a let's say a 2,000 person population who are going to use your system, and you guys change stuff, I have to then help them understand the change. And I really like how much you guys do to try to mitigate that. So I just wanted to understand the frequency.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we can separate. So this is product onboarding for the entire product. We can separate that out from feature enhancements, new feature rollouts. And so we use videos too, in addition to Pendo tooltips to the right segment at the right time, notifying whether it's admins or admins on a certain plan that, hey, we've got this new feature out, come and check it out. Sometimes there's a video to go along with it to walk through, all right, here's this new thing going on. I don't know if you're a customer, but last year we rolled out a complete new UI change, right? And so right now there's still 2 concurrent versions that you're able to be on, the old version or the new version. And so that was a big onboarding undertaking in terms of video, tooltips, emails, and all sorts of. So it's a multi-stream approach.
Okay. And so personally, actually I'm a unhappy Salesforce customer, so just to say that.
There we go.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, and so I would like to ask one granular question there. So probably you guys push some updates, and then some are this is what I would expect, right? Some updates are pushed, and then some are permission only. Can you tell me about the difference there?
Did you say dates?
Permission only.
Permission only.
To a controlled ecosystem like a company. Right?
Oh, okay. So you're asking about our specific admin features or our permissions systems?
Yeah. Because I would expect that some things just go through, and that's fine as with notification. And this is what I would expect, but I want to understand what your view is. And then larger things are like, okay, let's figure it out together how you roll it out. But some things I wouldn't want to know about. Just like, okay, that's great, you fixed whatever text thing, and just notification oriented.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that kind of stuff?
Right, so
Also, that's too granular, we talk about it afterwards.
let's talk about it afterwards, yeah, I don't know if we have a,
Talking more like about the
Explicit.
feature flag to.
Kinda, yeah, like if it's low level, blah, 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 or some large functionality. But again, I just wanted to understand, and I'm happy to talk about it after, it's fine.
And that's more like true enterprise software, right?
okay,
Still,
so
it affects all companies, right? You don't wanna show up and like not know that something's like, why is that functioning that way? That's surprising. Right, no.
So let me just show you last frame before we get to Q&A. This is my favorite one. We got a Zendesk ticket, somebody who was going through trial, and they were unhappy, right? They were like, oh, well, I want this functionality, where is it? Turns out they were actually on the free plan, and the functionality they were looking for was there, they just weren't seeing it. But the point is, he actually identified himself as an adventurer type. Isn't that cool? It's like they watched the video, oh, that's me, I'm doing this thing. And you could see that the energy was there. I love to see this. And let us know that we have a lot, in terms of upselling this customer, we have a lot of potential as we dive into upsell, which we'll talk about with you next year. So we'll go to the Q&A now. Plenty of time to talk about this. I want to mention Maria Thomas is our VP of Product. She's here in the audience, and so feel free to address. So we've got it all covered. If you have any insightfully specific questions, the approach that we took here, any questions or conversation topics.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to, if possible, build on the keynote about whole products, because that's a passion of mine, being in sales. I'm the one who gets kind of dumped on if we don't have a whole product. So is that something that, where does that responsibility lie in your company, and how do you approach, and I'm thinking, about the training, the community, everything around the product that's going to enable the users to be happy with it.
You want to speak to that, Maria?
Sure. So I love the keynote, and I loved how, the key guidance there is complete the whole product first for that first segment, complete it, make it right, and then go to other segments. I think we've done it probably like at 85% success rate, that we've completed the true SMB whole product with community, with, phenomenal video center, with help center, and like providing all those possibilities for the small business to thrive. We have launched a referral program, viral tactics, all those things that you would expect in a successful SaaS product for small business. But there were a few things left behind, no doubt. As we are now strongly going to mid-market, we have to work very much collaboratively as executive team and as a whole company to build out that whole product. In our product, in a CRM, right, as you Salesforce customers know well, it's not just about the software. It is about the rollout process. It is about having feature flag strategy, which we are working on. It is about professional services and custom integrations and so on and so forth, right? So that's what we're focusing on now. We're pretty far along, but that's hugely important, and that's it's important for product teams to remember that it is just as much your job is to help the entire company to build out all these offerings to support, then continue building the product itself, right? Because if you're, like a prime example here, if your onboarding experience encourages everyone to, hey, go pay us with a credit card, right? Well, guess what? You just missed an opportunity to offer professional services. You just missed an opportunity to connect with a success manager, and a ton of missed opportunity left on the table. For you as a business, but then for your customer, that's a complete fail, right? Because they will not be successful with a large group of users if they're not trained accordingly, or the product is not customized. So I think I loved our keynote speaker today, and hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's great.
Yeah, it's really important, I think, with onboarding also to think about, sort of that. Like, do you have a sales team? And if you do have a sales team, what is their experience like in trying to engage with the customer who is deep into your onboarding, right? Like, they're trying to reach in and get them out of a trial to speak to them, and your trial is encouraging them to continue. So it's important to remember those dynamics.
Right, I mean, we often end up having the demo experience.
Sure.
Is a whole, product line in itself.
Yeah, Grace, would you mind just going to our homepage for a sec?
Yeah, sure.
So if you go, our homepage is just the like case in point, right? It's kind of a textbook's case. So we have registered today for the webinar, but the key call to action on the ambient sort of typical homepage would be sign up for a demo. And so we recognize that as an important sort of sub-funnel, if you will, where previously we were guiding everyone to go sign up for trial and experience the onboarding. Now we're like, okay, we have large enough customers who would be better off if they actually talk to the salesperson right away. The sales team will engage with them. You know, some of our large customers, they don't want to sit through 6 hours of trial click-through. They're not going to do it, right? They have a list of questions. They want to speak to someone. Get all
Their
their
requirements, they want to understand if you meet their requirements
Exactly.
as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible, as efficient as possible. So certainly, if you are starting to play in that mid-market space, get them straight to sales.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
That's another key.
So that was like on the homepage, that was some kind of webinar thing?
Yeah. So you see, there's a requested.
Register
Yeah.
to next
So right now
screen.
we have a hero going for the webinar, but
Dynamic screen layout, what the hell is that?
it's our
It doesn't
latest
make sense.
release. Thank you.
You have to wait for the video to come out next week.
Yes.
Okay,
But,
so you're trying to get them to go to like a webinar or something?
Yeah, so we have
To talk about the product?
we have a big release coming up, and so this is Grace is seeing this because she's someone who navigated to this website before, so she's assumed to be a customer already.
Oh,
So
okay.
she's guided to the webinar, but
If
typically.
you go private mode or something.
Yeah, so you would see.
wouldn't see that.
But yeah, so if you scroll down a bit, Grace, so request a demo, that's now the kind of the main center
okay.
call to action.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of funnels the
So you
right
get a
person.
salesperson talking to them.
Yeah, and even in a large company, there are a lot of people who are going to be like, I don't want to ever speak to a salesperson, I want to do it myself,
No, I know, totally.
and they're going to go to trial.
Yes.
It's a big challenge for us right now is separating those funnels. The sales reps will tell you all day long, their biggest competitor isn't Salesforce or Zoho. Their biggest competitor is people just going self-serve. And so how do we make sure that the sales team stays fed, they're able to deliver the value that they deliver?
But what's wrong with that?
It's all right for the company.
Self-service.
Yeah, so that's the
Get rid of
question.
this.
Once you develop multiple funnels and you have different types of segments you're going for,
Yeah.
then suddenly you have to you have to figure out the internal processes
Yeah.
too, so that the business keeps working and the customers stay happy.
There are many reasons why you wouldn't want to guide your customers to self-serve. In our case, we happen to have a monthly plan, so they may sign up for monthly, they're not as committed. They may miss an opportunity of recognizing that they need to be, they're actually on the wrong plan.
Right,
Because
right,
we
right,
have
totally.
better
No,
best, of course,
it
right?
makes sense.
You may miss an opportunity to suggest, onboarding training, all of that, right? You're going to leave them on that.
And mid-market doesn't want more hand-holding. Smaller companies, more technical, they're like, don't call me Mr. Sales Guy, right?
So do you use Insight to onboard your sales team?
Oh, great question. Yes, we drink our own champagne. So we do, yes. We use Insightly as our CRM.
Yep. Biggest internal customer, yeah.
I have a quick question because I know we have to wrap up, but part of your product is a task management tool, I presume, and that's what you use for those features. Do you know of any better platforms for maybe SaaS products that don't have a checklist built in to kind of approach that option?
Specifically assigning tasks within the product?
Yeah, because then you're kind of stuck back in this walk me, like step 1, step 2, and that's not what we want to get to. But one of my previous employers used like a Smartsheet plugin, like an iframe to Smartsheets, and it was just very clunky.
So a couple ideas. One is, well, you can certainly just do it all in email. Your email nurture for trial could have tasks assigned, right? Like here's your weekly task. You can do that just purely through email, not in product at all.
Yeah.
But this entire onboarding experience is built using a third-party tool called Pendo. So that way, Grace and John, they can go in and they can customize it all day long. They can come up with different tasks. They can come up with different messaging. They can adjust a messaging to a different segment. So I highly recommend it. It's called Pendo.io. You can make it fit your UI completely, as you can see, you probably couldn't tell that this is not part of our product, but it's all done through third-party tool configuration. It's pretty neat.
So Pendo is built into your product, did you say? Or
Yeah, so
this-
it's a third-party tool. It's
I'm
it's
looking at it now.
yeah.
Yeah, Pendo was here 2 years ago,
Oh, were they?
sponsoring,
Yeah.
and all the founders were here, but I guess now they're too big.
Too big. Yeah, they just had their own conference a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so it's you put a little bit of code into your web application, and
Okay.
then it's essentially injected. So there you go. That's it, right, Grace?
Yeah, this is promoting our new dashboards feature, and this is injected into our product via Pendo.
Oh, got it, got it.
To your question about releases, we lean on Pendo heavily for that because, you know, our engineers are so heads down on building new features. We don't want to bother them with,
Right.
hey, let's announce this new feature. This allows us to do it completely with the Pendo UI.
Yeah, and this is also built via Pendo, this entire module.
So what time are we done here?
Next session start in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right, so throw up the last slide, Grace, so that you can take down our contact information. If you'd like to get in touch, add us on LinkedIn, please do. And try it Unsightly. It's a great product. We use it. I think you'll like it, especially if you're coming from Salesforce. And yeah, thank you for coming, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the